Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What Do You Say Anime. I am your host, Peter. On today's episode is the spring mid-season check-in. So about a month ago, I did a first impressions episode going over the first couple episodes of tennis shows and kind of got like what I thought of them going into it. If I've read it, my first impressions on like the anime adaptation versus maybe like an original or something that I had no prior knowledge of. And so today we're coming back to see if anything has changed. Am I loving it? Am I hating it? Did I drop it? Did I add new shows? All of that is on the table. So that's what we'll be going over. This will be a spoiler-filled episode. So if you don't want to be spoiled on specific shows, please use the timestamps in the description below for all the shows that we're discussing. And yeah, just avoid the plague, avoid them like the plague if you don't want spoilers. So there are a handful of shows that I am not going to be talking about this episode, such as Dorohedoro, which at the time of recording has one episode left. So I'm just going to save my thoughts on that show for the review episode. But if you listen to my first impressions episode, you know I loved it. I had it at a 10. I still have it at a 10. It's probably going to be my favorite show of the season, but who knows? Maybe they dropped the ball in the last episode. So not doing any final thoughts yet, but not going to be talking about that. But I also not going to be talking about shows like Akane Banashi and ReZero Season 4 because I'm behind on them. And since they're 2-core, I'm just going to save those thoughts for the review episode next season. Just because it's a couple of shows that just I feel like they need to build to get like the overall message. Like you can't judge a ReZero season on its first 6 episodes. And I've read Akane Banashi, so like I know where it's going, so I'm not in like a super rush to watch it all. So I'll save that for the review episodes for when we get there. But I will say I am thoroughly enjoying both. And I'm actually kind of shocked to see ReZero at the score it's at. Well, I do think it's good. I think it's going to be really hard to beat season 3 for me, but based off its rating, maybe it's better than season 3. So really looking forward to seeing how that plays out. So with me doing this solo going forward, I'm going to be switching up the formats a little and playing around with a couple things. So I might be doing something this episode that I'm not going to do next episode and then vice versa, just to play around, see what sticks, see what people like. I got some suggestions from our Discord for this episode. So if you want to suggest anything, you can leave it in like the YouTube comments or Discord. I'm way more active on Discord. So if you have a question or you want to see something on these episodes and you enjoy, please let me know. I am all for changing formats and applying it to what people are enjoying. So let me know. So we got a couple questions from Eagle, our Discord member, and want to give a shout out. So I'm gonna do some of like a more of like a broader view of the season itself and then dive into the singular shows after. So I got 3 questions from him. The first one was, which anime do you think people will talk about years from now? And my mind originally went to something like Witch Hat, but I think Witch Hat is going to be lumped in, and it will probably always be lumped in with Frieren and Dungeon Meshi. So, like, I don't know if it's going to be like, I feel like that's going to be the show that's going to be talked about the most, but I think it's in conjunction with the other shows. So now I was more thinking about like a singular show that I think will be talked about. And I'm going to go with Nippon Sangoku. I just think that this show is like very Heavenly Delusion-esque, like we had in 2023, where it was a highly rated manga, but not like a very popular manga, especially in the West here. And then when the anime dropped, it kind of like got a lot of buzz and a lot of people talking like, yo, this show is like something special. And that's kind of what I feel with Nippon Sangoku right now, where I think it's really building up to be something special. And I hope it doesn't get the Heavenly Delusion treatment where it greatly deserves a second season. And I feel like it's on the trajectory for that as well. So I feel like it might be talked about for years now, just for the sole reason of season 2 win. Just because I think it's checking all the boxes of something that could be great if we got more content, because it's such a thrilling and, you know, easy to consume show that I'm just fascinated with. And I'll give more thoughts on that in a minute here. So I definitely think that this is going to be the show that's going to be the singular show that's most talked about, not in conjunction with other shows, if that makes sense. Second question, which sequel is better than its previous season? So I kind of touched on ReZero a little bit, where I don't know if that's gonna be better than season 3. Dorohedoro's second season, I gave season 1 a 10 and I have season 2 at a 10, so I can't say it's better unless I give it a 11, which would break my scale. So right now, by default, I think I have to say that my favorite sequel, or the best sequel from this season that's better than the original, is Farming Life in Another World season 2. I am enjoying it. I haven't really been talking about it much. This is like a show that I just like to turn on and chill and watch. I feel like it doesn't have like a complex story that I want to like discuss with people. It's just like a fun, and it's just a great I should say it's a great show because I love how the anime is changing the light novel. I think its format in the anime is so much better than what they were doing in the light novel. It just makes it more enjoyable to watch. So my sort of default cop-out answer is Farming Life in Another World Season 2, because there's a chance that it's worse than Season 1 by the end of it. But right now, I would say it is better than the first season. So that was that. And then the last question, what show do I look forward to the most every week? And this is a great question because while I love seasonal, like the big reason why I love seasonal content more than like binging shows is I love looking forward to a specific show on a specific day. I know that if I had a hard day at work on Monday, when I come home, I know I have Witch Hat waiting for me. Or when I'm ready to celebrate the weekend, I can watch Botan and have a drink with everybody in Discord and stuff like that. And like, yo, cheers. Let me get this is water. I'm not drinking right now, but you know, just it's that community aspect that I like really gravitate towards. And the whole reason why I like started like the Discord and the podcast and everything like that was to connect with people and talk about these things that we all have a shared interest in. So I wouldn't say it's like a specific show. It's more of just like the maybe I have like a show that I look forward to based off of a specific day. But the two that come to mind are Witch Hat on Mondays and Botan on Fridays. Those are probably the two that I look forward to the most. So great questions, Eagle. Actually, yeah, if you guys have questions that you want answered, you can just leave them in the YouTube comments as well. Like it doesn't have to be in our Discord or anything like that. So shout out to that. So let's dive into the singular shows and get more into it. So a couple of these shows, I had predictions of, maybe not predictions of where I want to see the story go from watching episode 3 to where we are now, depending on what episode we're at. So let's start with my new favorite show, or my new favorite non-sequel show of the season. And I mentioned it earlier, Nippon Sangoku. What I was looking for from the first 3 episodes to where we are now is I wanted to see how they built up the group. Because at the time of the first impressions, it was more of the introduction. We saw the uprising in the city where the main character loses his wife and sort of joins this battalion. It is now, and now we got this time skip where we have the more established cast that we had built up in more prominent roles. So they didn't really do a lot to build up the group, but they did a good job at like fast forwarding, I think, some of the details that weren't necessary to get to where the story wants to go. I think it was something like a 4-year time skip. Someone can correct me, but it's not like a huge time skip. They went from being like late teenagers to like young adults. So something along that range. So while I wish they did build up, because I think that they could build up the chemistry a little bit more, especially with Yoshi and God, I forgot the main dude's name, but Misumi. But the characters are established themselves. So like, while I do wish we had that interpersonal build up, it's fine. The main story is the 3 kingdoms that they're fighting. And now we are up in Kasamatsu. Oh, and let me say this. At the time of recording, I believe episode 7 like just came out and I'm 6 episodes in. So the newest episode I watched was the battle at Kasamatsu, where it was like the fade to black, and we have a good idea of which side won. So I would just say where we are going right now, the time skip was great. I think to get to where we want to go into the story, this was necessary, especially if we're only getting 12 episodes. I don't think I would have liked that if this was like a 2-core, or if we know that we were getting more content. Just because, you know, the intricacies of, because right now the main dude is like leading the audits, and we see glimpses of the past of like, he's really smart. He's technical. He sees things on paper that other people don't see. And they provided the context to how or why he's in this position, but they didn't show how he got to this position. But it's perfectly fine. I just think like the political intrigue so far has been fantastic. We have a better understanding now with a new leader, Olga, who got introduced, I believe, in like the end of episode 3 or 4, where she is the new, like, everybody has eyes on her. What is she doing? She's going Zoran on it, where she is just helping everybody, and everyone's like, all the rich people are like, hey, rich people can't help poor people. That's how we stay rich. And then she's like, fuck you, I'm gonna help my people. And it's like, that's my queen. That's my queen. And now everyone's like, okay, she's got to go. And so I just love that intricacy of her character. Just socialism. Let's fucking go, right? Oh, universal healthcare. Yeah. But man, Sangoku has just been an incredible treat. They toned back the filtering, which I had a little bit of an issue on in the earlier episodes. They've toned it down where I think it's a huge plus, because when you add these filtering moments to certain scenes, it adds a lot to that scene. And so when you use it in specific moments, it adds it to even more where you're not overly using it, which they kind of were in the beginning. So best new show of the season. If someone had this as their anime of the year, I could probably see it. This is probably going to be in like easily going to be my top 10. I think it's tracking to be like top 5. It's been incredible. I have it. Oh, we're going to do predictions now of like where I have it and where I think it's going to go. Right now I have it at a 9. I don't think it's going to hit 10 just because of the episode count. I don't think we'll get enough context. Things could change because the show has already blown my expectations out of the water. But I have it at 9. I think I'm going to give it a 9, but I hope I give it a 10. I fucking love this show. I can't wait. And I want to say I want to read it when it's all said and done, but I said that about Journal with Witch last season, and I read 1 chapter. So I need to read Journal with Witch first before I read this if we don't get more content. But it's just been an incredible show. So Nippon Sangoku, have it at a 9. I think it's going to be a 9. Next show is Hat Atelier. I mean, what's not to say that hasn't already been said? I don't think it's all. I'm going to touch on this one too much. I'm just happy to see that Bug Films, through 8 episodes, the production has not dropped, even when they outsource their episodes. No quality drops. At the time of recording, 8 episodes have aired. I've seen all 8, and we sort of got the key-free background of he Men in Blacked that old man, and we're starting to question who Key-Free is. Are the brimmed hats the good guys or the bad guys? Is Coco a domestic terrorist? Like, we're finding all of this out, and in the eyes of the law, maybe she is. Maybe she is. They kind of wanted to kill a bunch of children for using magic, and their logic was a bit extreme. I think in a sense it makes sense, but I think you can also give a little leeway when they are 10-year-old children. But I mean, I feel like everyone's watching Witch Hat, so like if you know, like what is there to touch on? Since let me say this, since the first impressions episode, we got episode 6, which if people said that this was the best episode of the year, I think it's probably going to be a lot of people's episode of the year. It's not, I don't think it's going to be my episode of the year, but I will say, holy buckets of butts, that episode was crazy. Bug Films knocked it out of the park. That was sort of the Sakuga moment that I was looking for, and I'm hoping that we get another one when Coco takes her test later. So just an incredible series to watch. God, they need to announce season 2 sooner rather than later. Continue with this fantasy trend that we're just getting prominent and just absolute juggernauts in this genre, and Witch Hat is no exception. I have it at a 9. Since I read it, I think I'm probably going to stay at a 9. I just think the show is just like a very consistent 9 the entire time. I think later down the road, it could get bumped up, but we're in the early stages, and the early stages of Witch Hat doesn't really have a lot of shock and awe. It doesn't have I would say it does have talking points, but I think like the real talking points of Witch Hat come later. So we're building that, but like with the key-free stuff at the end of episode 8, I think that is a great way to start building the discussion for the world that it itself is in. So loving Witch Hat. If you're not watching it, watch it. If you dropped it, pick it back up. If you're not going to pick it back up, pick yourself back up, man. What are you doing? Okay, moving on from Ramparts of Ice. So this is a show, I think originally this was in like the middle of my rankings. Like I was liking it. I like Polar Opposites better. Obviously, I think most people like Polar Opposites better. But episode 7 changed a lot, and I don't know if I like Ramparts more than, or I think I might like Ramparts more than Polar Opposites. I know that they're different stories, but when you're in the same manga, or the same mangaka writes kind of similar in vein, you kind of like compare those two all the time. It's the same thing with like JoJo's. Like I'm sure the parts are different, but like people compare 4 and 2 all the time. What's better, 5 or 7? Shit like that. So that's kind of like how I feel with Ramparts. But I was getting really, really sick of the Minato episodes. I really wanted to see how the love polygon that they had going on, or actually love triangle that I thought was going to happen, has now turned into a love rhombus. With Yota, I was sort of expecting that he was already opening up to Koki a lot more. And then seeing him open up, but in a way of expressing his feelings towards Miki was sort of a shock because I didn't see that coming. I thought Yota was either going to go for Kyoki or nobody else. That's just kind of the vibe that I got from him. So now we're shaking things up because now I think Koki is going to start realizing that while she was super excited at the time that he opened up, I think we're going to start exploring her feelings of what she's actually feeling. At least that's where I think it's going to go. Where at the moment she's happy, and then she's going to start realizing some things because Yota is just a fantastic guy. And the way that she opens up with him compared to other people, I mean, maybe she's like asexual or something like that, and then it's like that would change the story completely, like in like a good way too. Like, don't get me wrong, but like based off like the stereotypical tropes that we have of anime, I'm starting to think that like she's going to start having a self-realization that Yota is actually the guy that she wants. But we need to see like what Miki's feelings is, because she's been damaged a little bit from her middle school days with her ex-boyfriend, and we kind of saw that with the soccer guy that came to the school to practice. So it will be interesting to see how they play out these dynamics, just because I think it's a little different than what we see in these stylish shows, where branching out to a 4-person love goo instead of a triangle is always a plus. I love changing up the game, even if it's just adding one more person. I have the show at a 9. I love this show. It's exceeded my expectations. I think the first impressions episode, even though I didn't say my rating, I think I had the show at like a high 7, and now I've bumped it up to like a low 9, where I'm just really, really enjoying what I'm watching right now. Yeah, I just think the character work is fantastic. You're making these characters relatable, and even the characters that I don't like are relatable and likable in a sense, because they're just dumb teenage kids and they're learning. And I just think that the representation of how they're exploring that has been fantastic. So Ramparts has been, I think I have it my number 3 show of the season right now. Like, I'm just thoroughly impressed by what we're seeing with Ramparts. Yeah, I have it at a 9. I think it could drop to an 8. I do think right now, I think episode 7 was such a great episode. That might be the peak of the season. It'll be tough to see because that moment was just so impactful and changed so much about where the story is going. I hope we get a second season as well, just like Polar Opposites is getting, but we shall see. But Ramparts has been fantastic. What a great show. Mentioned it earlier, Botan fully blossoms when drunk. Yes, sir. So who doesn't love drinking and who doesn't love Yuri? Let's combine the two. So I didn't have a prediction of where I wanted the show to go, just because it was now that I see like the PV, there's a 6th girl in the picture, and at the time we only had 5. So in the newest episode, in episode 6, we got introduced to Chang, who has completely changed the game. It is, I wouldn't even say it's like drama, because like it's not drama. It's like a new piece. It's like you're playing Beyblades and it's you and your buddy, and then like a third person drops a Beyblade in. Like, okay, you're all in it together now. Like, how is it gonna go? But you're playing Beyblade, so it's fun. Like, even if you lose, it's whatever. Well, I guess when you're playing with human emotions, it's a little bit different than Beyblades, and maybe that wasn't the best analogy, but it's more in the sense that they're in the same like arena fighting together now, and in the sense that they're having, or I should say, as the audience, we are having a very good time watching it. I would like to see, I guess maybe this would be a prediction for the review episode, but I would like to see like less will they, won't they, and then maybe by the end of it, like actually have something cemented. Like, I don't want a what if, I don't want a open ending. Like, I just want some concrete answer of these characters, and just even if it's just slight, it doesn't have to be anything drastic, but just where the story is right now. I'm having a blast, loving the drinks, loving the adventures that they're going on. It reminds me a lot of like Mono from a couple seasons ago, but instead of taking pictures, they get drunk and maybe make out. Like, it's like it's just a great combination, and they're working with it with what they got, and Chang coming into it still need to see more of her, but I really she got introduced. Her prominent introduction in episode 6, where they went to like the hostel, and she was a little bit more upfront with sort of her requests, and it led to some like looking at each other differently and like, oh, she's really going for it, isn't she? And stuff like that. So I want to see that explored. I want to see, I mean, Changu's just really fun. Like the show itself is just fun. Like it's a fun show. It's kind of like Ramparts, where like the drama is light, but for the majority of the show, it is a very good time. And there's no exception with this one. The art style, I know people complained, I think it was like episode 3, and then episode 6, they brought back the same like DIY art style, which I think is so fascinating and love it. It just adds like a fun, charismatic element to the show where these characters can add different layers of their goofiness or something along those lines. The visual storytelling, the visual comedy can hit harder when you change the art styles. Like so. Botan's great. I have it at an 8. I think it's probably going to stay at an 8. I would maybe bump it up to a 9 if we got some hard cemented answers. That's what I would look for. I normally don't look for it when we're in like a high school setting, middle school setting, something like that. But when you're in college, when you're an adult cast, like the tropes change. Like I need you to act like adult, and they do, especially with their flirting. Their flirting is, I love it. It's real flirting. Oh my God. It's like, you know, like if you're talking to somebody and like you're interested in them and like you're like low key kind of flirting, but like it's nothing heavy, but then they kind of do it back, and it's like, do I push it? And then you push it a little bit more, and then they also respond to that. And it's like, yeah, here we, okay, so this is good. This is gonna get fun. Like I can, like me and this person, we have a good connection. That's what Botan is to me. It's like taking the next step in wanting to pursue somebody. Botan, oh man, what a lovely, lovely show. 8 out of 10 right now. Hope to give it a 9. Just give me some answers. That's all I want. That's all I want. Look, I'm a greedy man. A little bit. I don't ask for much. Actually, I'm not a greedy. What am I saying? But I can't say that because if I say, that's like saying I'm humble. If you say you're humble, you're not humble. You know what? Let's just scratch that. just give me some concrete answers. All right, that's Botan. Next up, Agent of the Four Seasons. Boy, do I look dumb in my first impressions episode. So I don't know why I didn't read like the fine print better. So what I wanted more from Agents of the Four Seasons was, and if you can hear me, I'm battling with my broken microphone stand again. I thought I had it fixed, and then mid-episode it is currently having technical difficulties, but we're making it work. So apologies for that for everybody out there. There we go. I think I got it now. It's probably going to fall. But so it's called Agent of the Four Seasons, Dance of Spring. My dumbass thought, oh, I can't wait till they introduce summer. Oh, my dumbass. Oh, I can't wait till they start introducing this fall character. Nah, what am I doing? The whole focus of this show is on Hina. Like, it is her story. So I'm gonna bring it back from my first impressions episode, and I will easily say that was a terrible take. If I just read the fine print, I would have known that. But from where we left off, so at the time of recording, 8 episodes have dropped. I have not seen the 8th episode, but I have seen episode 7, which, as somebody who has seen like 1,100 anime, I've seen tens of thousands of episodes of anime, like a gazillion. For me to have my jaw on the floor on anything that happens in anime happens probably once a year. And that happened in episode 7 of Agents of the Four Seasons. Because Jesus fucking Christ. I love the fact that they're like, hey, these people are essentially wizards. They can control it. If we need to take them out, let's use a tomahawk missile. And then they used the tomahawk missile to try to kill this little girl who has powers. And she lived, which was, she like absorbed the power of like a soldier when he tried to like retrieve her. So now we're at the point where they use a tomahawk missile to try to kill this girl who has power. She lived, and now they're going to take her in as like, I think they, in the sub at least, they referred to her as taking her as a pet. I don't know if that the context means anything, but it seems like they're going to imprison this girl. So where does that lead the show next to? Like, are we going to go and try to save this person with Hina and Sakura? Like, what are we doing? Or are we going on an adventure to find love with Hina and then the frozen guy? Like, what is the plan of attack? So the show itself, I thought, was building up really nice in the first couple episodes. But now episode 7 dropped and it changed everything. The buildup is done. It is time to act. So right now I have the show at a 7 and I'm really enjoying it. And I think these next 7 episodes can really dictate my score. I can see me dropping this to like maybe a 5 if it doesn't go the way of where I think it's going to go. Maybe narratively, even if it's, let me say this. If where I want to go doesn't happen, but like narratively it makes sense, that's completely different. But I could also see, like, because Violet Evergarden is my favorite anime of all time, I have blind trust in this author, where if I gave the show a 10, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, unless you read, I don't know where this is going. Like, it is going to be such a fun adventure, these next 7 episodes, that I can't wait. And maybe we get a Agents of the 4th season Ballroom of Fall or something like that down the road. Like, who knows? But just, wow. Episode 7 changed everything. It was so funny. Eagle's like, I saw the clips of episode 7. I was like, trust me, with context, it makes sense. If there's no context and you watch a little girl get blown up by a Tomahawk missile, it would seem really weird, right? Like, but with the context, I thought it made sense. I think it's like, I think more shows should use this. I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant. It reminds me of My Hero Academia season 4 or 5, where in the scenes they are showing guns with the police officer, and 99% of heroes in My Hero Academia lose to a Luger. Like, they lose to a 9mm just straight up. And I thought that was like a really bad introduction of like adding that to your lore, because real talk, if you're a villain, you would just pick up a Glock, but they don't. With agents, it's the exact opposite. It's, if you have the means of ending somebody, like someone like this, use the arsenal that's available to you. And if it's a Tomahawk missile, use it. And then they did. I was like, yeah, that's how you do it, baby. So, man, what an episode. Like, it's really hard. Actually, Wistoria did it too, and I'll talk about that when we get to Wistoria. But like, having one episode just be like, everything has changed right now, is, to me, pretty rare in anime. So shout out to Agents for doing that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give this show, I haven't, so like I said, I think it could be anywhere from like a 5 to a 10. Realistically, I think I'm saying in the 7-8 range. I think that's where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say, my prediction is I'm gonna give this an 8 at the end of the season. But I hope I give it a higher rating. So, Agents of the 4th season. All right, next up is 100 scenes of Awajima. In my first impressions episode, I was shocked that this show has a low rating on me. Like, genuinely shocked. But then when I started thinking about it, I think it's more of the structure of what the show is and what it's trying to portray. And I had a hard time describing like what the show is. And then my mom said something to me and it clicked. I'm like, that's what the show is. And it's like, if these walls could talk. And that's what the show is. It's if these walls could talk inside the school, the stories of the school, the stories of the people of the school, and just their journey of the connection of this Awajima school. So instead of it being like a one specific character, it is the entire thing that made this school what it is, the people that made it who it is, and their lives inside and outside of the school. And I just think that's so fascinating. It's a narrative that isn't really explored much, where you have episodic episodes revolving around pretty much the same thing, but the connecting storylines don't really like intertwine. It's just that we have a same setting, we have a same setup for these girls. Like, a lot of the stories start with wanting to go to Awajima or something along those lines involving the school, but it has different areas. And one thing that I like really enjoyed with the newer episodes, episode 6, the resentment of a mother character of their daughter, who they both went to Awajima, and it made it seem like the daughter was the better like while her time was in school, she was better than her mom, and her mom had resentment toward. I was like, yeah, explore that. That is great. Like, how often do we see resentment in parental figures in anime? Like, I was thinking maybe we'll see it in Medalist at some point where we can start seeing resentment with like coaches and their trainees, but like pure, oh man, it was episode 6 of Awajima was just fantastic. Episode 3 is still the best episode. It might be my favorite episode of the season. It's like a top 5 episode of the season, but the whole idea of just being a fly on the wall to these characters, to this setting, to this world, I think it's just fascinating. And I just think the setting of Awajima maybe translates more to like Japanese culture, where they have, you know, the Kageki showcasing and stuff like that. And where I think maybe we thought that this might be like Kageki Shoujo when it really isn't. It's not about the journey of landing a role. It's not about the journey of being a star. It's the journey of just being involved with this school and what that means to each individual person in their own ways. Is it love? Is it your acting ability? Are you there because your parents pressured you? And because of that, what's the reaction? What's the cause and effect for these different reasons for attending this school? I mean, we even saw it with like the guidance counselor or teacher character or whatever. Like, I think that was episode 3, where it's just, there's so many different ranges. It's like, I can get why it can be confusing where they're spanning so many different timelines, but like, that's what the appeal of this show is. Like, it is supposed to be different storytelling, and it's just fascinating. I just love it. I wish more people saw it that way. I really do think that is the biggest detriment to the show, is how people are perceiving it. And I just really wish that people just realize like what it is doing, because it is such a unique take on this narrative. Man, I love the show. I have it at a 9. I think it has a chance of being a 10. We'll see how it goes, but I can't see me dropping it lower than 9 because every episode has something in it. It has something in it, and every episode is different. Like, there's not the same story twice ever, which is just, oh, it's so good, man. I love this show. Awajima, banger. All right, so let's be mean a little bit. We were just really nice. And I was mean to the show in the first impressions episode, and sadly, going to continue to be mean to it. That is, gals can't be kind to an otaku. So, in my first impressions episode, I was thinking more along the lines like this show, what it was doing was playing to its target audience instead of its overall. And what that means is that we are taking very stereotypical tropes that we see from these gal shows and just placing it in episodic formats. I made a joke that they were going to see the Glittermon movie in episode 4, followed by a beach episode in episode 5. And I believe that's exactly what happened. So the fact that I called that is bad. Like, it's formulaic. It's to the point where it's like, you're not telling a story, you're showing a story. This is an SNL skit where we move on from one skit to the next, where there's no continuous storyline. There's nothing tying these all together. And I thought episode 6 would maybe change that with the confession scene. Wrong. Like, I'm sorry if you confess to somebody and then just say, tee-hee, just kidding, tee-hee, I meant as a friend. That's not a confession. I'm sorry, it's not. It defeats the entire purpose of doing that scene. I should say it completely defeats it, because it does give the confidence of, you know, the blonde gal character. Like, maybe it builds up her character, but like, I hate fake confessions. I hate it so much. It to me, it adds like almost nothing to the story. What it does is it draws out the story. It adds to the will they, won't they? But the thing is, they won't. If you're not doing it now, why would you do it in the next 4 episodes? You're going to do it in the last chapter of the manga. I read Nagatoro. I know how this goes. They're going to get one of them is going to get together the last chapter, and that's just how it's going to go. I wish it wasn't as formulaic. I wish that there was like a true overarching story to this, that there is some goal to be had, but it's just not there. It's there for the people who like gal content, that want to shut their brains off and just have fun. And that's exactly what the show is doing. For me, I just personally think it's really lazy to do this, just because you're just copying other shows and they're just adding a layer of new care. It's the same gal show I've seen 100 times. Nothing's changing. The comedy isn't better. There's no drama. The self-insert main dude has nothing other than him being like a genuinely good person. But like, congrats, man. You did the bare minimum. Way to go. Have the show at a 5. I might drop it. I will say that I did actually thought the beach episode like was nice, but like it goes back to what I was saying before. It's all there because that's what the audience wants. It's fan service in a different way, which is fine. I just don't think I'm into it as I was like 5 years ago. So have it at a 5. I'll just say I'm gonna leave it at a 5, but it's probably leaning more towards drop territory. But we'll let it cook maybe. But like, man, some of the episodes are just so bad. Just like, you know exactly what's going to happen in like the next scene, and I hate that. I hate that. Oh my god, it's like, was it episode 4? It's like they mentioned like a Glittermon. I mean, that's a bad example, but like, I feel like every episode's like they bring up something in the first 30 seconds. That's the entire episode, and then and that's fine, but it's the items that we've already seen before. Nothing. They do nothing to change. So I have it at 5. I'm gonna leave it at 5 probably. I'm gonna briefly touch on Daemons of the Shadow Realm. I've seen 7 episodes at the time of recording. Let me just double check to make sure that there is not an 8th episode out. There's not an 8th episode. So at the time of recording, I am fully caught up. And what I was looking for was, we had the initial conflict, and then we had the buildup of the outside world, and we got some background stories, but like, and some background information. But I feel like that's like what we're getting the last like 5 episodes is just background information. And it seems like we're like maybe an episode and a half too long into that, where we need to like go to something. We have to go for something. We got the background. Everything is there. And it just seems like its pacing is just a little off right now. Hard to explain because I think this is purely subjective, but like, when you need to let something cook to build up to its story, but if you let it cook too long, you get burnt. And I feel like we're getting into crispy territory right now, where we're losing some of the gusto of what people were drawn towards this. Full Metal Alchemist's new manga's new property. Everybody likes Full Metal Alchemist. And we need to see something new. Like, I feel like the story beats are a lot of the same, where we have like twins who are our brother and sister who are looking for their parents in a magical world. A lot of callbacks to Full Metal. Gabby's character is literally Ed. Like, I think it's a little too comfy. It's a little comfy. It's a little too playing. Do you know what this is? When I say that, this is Spider-Man Far From Home, the Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie, which might get some hate. That movie sucked ass, like hardcore sucked ass. But so it kind of reminds me of that, where it's like, hey, you guys like the story beats of Full Metal, right? Well, let's put it in Daemons. It's like, that's cool when you do it every now and then, but when you do it all the time, it kind of bogs down the originality of what Daemons is, because I think the Daemon aspect is so fascinating, and the characters, the Daemons themselves are sick. Like the Hare and the Tortoise as a Daemon was so cool. Like the turtle uses gravity to use this as like his main weapon, and the rabbit was using speed. I'm like, what a great yin and yang type of combo for these Daemons. And then you have right and left. You have the chomper guy. Like, I think the designs of the Daemons have been fantastic, but it's like, it's the story beats outside of that I think need some fine tuning, that we need to move away from the callbacks. We need to move away from the comfiness of what made Full Metal great. We can apply them, but let's not copy paste them. And I feel like that's kind of where we're at. So I have it at an 8. It's a pretty low 8. And this will probably be the last time I talk about it until next season's review. So it could change. I'm going to give it the benefit of doubt that it's going to get better. So I'm going to say that I'm going to give the show an 8 when it's all said and done. But I do really need to see it like make a name of its own and stop being a clone, like, you know, a filter of Full Metal and start being an original of Daemons. Okay, so let's talk about the two shows that I wanted to watch in the first impressions, but then I didn't get a chance to until now. So those two were MarriageToxin and Wistoria. So let's talk about MarriageToxin first. At the time of recording, there are 7 episodes out. I am through 4. And I asked this in our Discord, like, does this show remind you of something? Because it reminded me of like 4 shows kind of like melded together. The show that I gravitated towards the most was that this was a better Witch Watch. And we kind of got some input. Witch Watch, we got that, some Spy Family. Oh, and Sakamoto Days. And I think that's like a very fair comparison. The action is very Sakamoto Days. The two main leads kind of reminded me of Witch Watch without like the sexual tension, which is probably the best part of this show. Like, I love the fact that Hikaru and Mei feel like there is no sexual tension between them at all. And oh my God, it makes the beats so much better because it's never, we already have so much will they, won't they in this season, not like specifically MarriageToxin, like the overall season right now, that we don't need it in this style of like, even though I think it's an action, I actually think that this is just like this is like Love is Blind or something like that with Poison or something along those lines. Like, this is a romance show. Like, he is looking for a wife. The whole point of this show is him all right, let me say this. The whole point of this first arc is him looking for a wife. I can't believe this doesn't have a romance tag. Like, this is a romance show. Like, it's crazy that it's not considered that. Like, you're actively pursuing a wife. Whatever. Besides the point. The action, Sakamoto Days, like, straight up, this is 8 out of 10 action. When I watched it, I was just like, that was cool. It did nothing special, but it did nothing bad either. It was fun. It was flashy. I like the idea that he uses other toxins in his body to sort of power himself up. It could get a little plot armory, but like, for the purpose of the show, who gives a shit? Like, who cares? Like, the beats themselves of the story are insane. It's, you know, a dude's his sister is a lesbian and one of the two has to get married, and he's like, well, I'm single and you love somebody, I'll take one for the team. And Mei, who is actually a guy who dresses like a girl, and I want to bring this up with the sister. I like that the show just like doesn't make a big deal out of it. Like, I feel like a lot of shows would be like, you know, I actually like girls. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, love who you love, blah, blah, blah. And it's like a 5-minute like prologue thing of like explaining these situations. Like, and MarriageToxin is like, yeah, I have a girlfriend. And he's like, yeah, my sister has a girlfriend. That's it. Like, it's not a big deal. It's just part of everyday life. Mei, oh, I'm actually a dude who dresses like a girl. I bet. Like, fuck it. Like, who cares? Like, can you help me find a wife? You can? Perfect. Let's go. Like, I like that. I mean, it's little, but like, it just makes it makes the show flow better when you don't have to like stop. When you don't have to be like, no, actually, this is okay. Like, it's okay to love somebody or whatever. It's like, no, just, yo, we're fucking people up. Like, I don't care if you bang a guy or a girl, help me find a wife. Like, whatever. Like, love that. Oh my God. I think, let me say this. It's not that I'm against that. I think that stuff is very important in the context of the show that the matter is in. Like, if it was a style like Journal with Witch or something like that, like when you have that style of show, it makes way more sense to stop. Let's express ourselves. Let's figure this out. In a show like MarriageToxin, mention it and move on. It's great. It's, oh man, it's such a little thing that just makes the show flow so much better. I dropped Sakamoto Days. I just thought like the flow of that show was very bad and boring. This, however, flows really nice. I don't know what it is about it, but it's just flowing way better than I expected. So if I had a show that, well, I should say I'm like not expected because I've only heard good things about MarriageToxin and it's good. So I can't say like I'm surprised, but I'm a little surprised by like that context, if that makes sense. I have the show at an 8, and I'll probably give it an 8. I think that's probably where it will land. I also don't know how many episodes. I think this is a 2-core. I could be mistaken, but it's just been a fun ride. It really has been a fun ride. We'll just see where it goes from there. And the last show that I wanted to talk about, because I didn't get to talk about it before, is Wistoria Season 2. So I watched Season 1, liked it, gave it a 7, thought it was cool. Wistoria Season 2. Outside of it, until episode 5, I thought the season was a huge disappointment. I found this out in real time that I hate this trope when you're dealing with like schools. I think Harry Potter does it. I know My Hero Academia did it a little bit. It's a little different in My Hero, but it's the trope where like the city's under attack and only the high schoolers can save the day, like the inexperienced high schoolers. It's like when Harry Potter fought like, you know, like the kids were fighting like these like great like wizards or whatever, like they have like 40 years of experience of being wizards and they're like freshmen in Hogwarts and they're just like absolutely smoking them. It's like you guys would get wrecked in this fight. Like maybe outside of Harry because he's like the prodigy son. That's kind of what I felt like Wistoria was like. It was like the same thing. It's like these are like high school students fighting. At one point, the gods of their tower, like the 5 pillars or whatever, were like, we can't help them. This could change the world. Like that's the level of characters that they are fighting in this fight, and they win. I was like, I fucking hated that shit until Will sort of went demon mode and like had no power, but he actually had 1 power, and that 1 power is, hey, guess what? You're actually fucking broken. It's like Asta from Black Clover. It's just like, oh, he doesn't actually have any powers. Turns out he's just like a fucking devil. So like it doesn't matter. Will was like the same way where it's like he doesn't actually have any powers. Okay, he has 1 power and he can absorb souls, essentially. I'm paraphrasing, but it's like, you know, oh, you're just the strongest person in the world before powers, and now you're the strongest person after. And luckily, Will's a cool character. We're like, I'm fine with that. But I do really wish they would go away from. I mean, that's such a stupid thing to say, right? Because the cast is all teenagers, but it's like, I wish that like the scale that they were going at made better sense. That if you were fighting like a god tier calamity destruction event happening, and you have to rely on the high school to win the fight, I just think is boring and lazy and dumb, like straight up. And that's why I compared it to My Hero Academia Season 4. I'm like, the first arc of this story was My Hero Academia Season 4, like to a T, until episode 5, which I thought was great. Like outside of the trope, like everything within the episode makes sense. If that was good, if that makes sense. So like, I thought the music and sound design took a quantum leap in episode 5, which season 1's OST of Wistoria was fantastic. It was one of the best OSTs from that year. And I thought it was severely lacking in this season until episode 5. Pop the F off. Sound design, pop the F off. Animation, pop the F off. Like, outside of one trope that I really didn't like, episode 5 changed everything. And my favorite thing with episode 5 was just like, part 1's done. That's it. Now it's time for the real shit. I'm like, oh yeah, let's go. Like, just like telling us that. We're just like, no, it's time now. Like, we're done. Playtime's done. It's go time. I was like, okay, cool. So I like that. I just wish that the people that they were fighting and the conflicts scaled to what they are, you know, like what their power level is. It wouldn't be like Goku going to fight Majin Buu the first episode. You have to scale to Majin Buu. You have to go through Frieza. You have to go through Vegeta. You have to go through whatever. Like, it scales with the power. Wistoria seems like it's off in that, where I can't get a grasp on like how strong these people are, the enemies that they're fighting. When you have literal gods in your world saying you can't help because it could change the trajectory of the world because of the conflict that is currently happening. that this could resonate to us in this ivory tower. And you have Will fuck him up. Will ace them, smoked them. It's just like, I don't get it. Like, it would be like someone's hacking in Counter-Strike. That's what it felt like. It felt like Will was hacking in Counter-Strike a little bit. So change the scaling a little bit to something that is more in tune to, I feel like, the current power level, and be much better. I have the show at a 6. I think it could get bumped up to a 7. I gave season 1 a 7. I don't think it's gonna go above a 7. I just think that this is outside of Will, it's a very generic power fantasy to the point where it's like kind of obnoxious. Like, the fire guy has red hair, the elf has green hair, the ice guy has blue hair. It's like, it's lazy. It's like really lazy shit, but like, it looks cool. It sounds cool. Will's cool. I like Will a lot. Will's really cool. I think the rest of the cast is like really, really, really bad. Especially the new, like, we got introduced like the tower guardians, like the 5 whatever, like where the Elfaria, whatever her name is, the blue hair girl, where she's chilling. Like, there's like this punk ass white haired dude. I'm just like, you're just such a generic character. Every character is generic in the show. Like, it's just boring. Like, it's not getting any points for character design. I'll just put it that way. So outside of that, hope to see the OST continue to where it was. I need it to be season 1 level, and the sound design and the animation. Let's have a fun, enjoyable watch, and I will give this 7 at the end of the day. So that was all of those shows. Along with sort of what we did before with the questions, I'm gonna try doing like this mid-season like awards thing, where I just want to like give a shout out to like shows and characters and moments or whatever that I've experienced. So if you want to hear like my thoughts on like my favorite whatever XYZ, let me know. I have a couple. So right now, overall, my favorite season of the show is Dorohedoro season 2. It's one of my favorite shows. Like, it's in like my top 20 of all time. Season 2 is continuing to bring the heat. I love it. But I would say for new shows, it's Nippon Sangoku. Biggest surprise is also Nippon Sangoku, just in the sense that it kind of came out of nowhere from a Western perspective. And the level of detail that I expected from it was so much more than I think was. How do I phrase this correctly? If you look at the PV, it looks good, but it doesn't look great. And then when you watch the anime, it's like great. So I would say biggest surprise in terms of just like, don't judge a book by its cover, but I do. It's Nippon Sangoku. And then my favorite character is Yota from Ramparts of Ice. I just think he's a fantastic character. I love characters that are simple on the surface, but in the background are a little bit more complex, where Yota feels like a real person. His conflicts, his drama, the things that are going on in his life feel real to me, and how he handles those in such grace is a testament to the writing of his character. I just think Yota is fantastic. So, and I got to mention the shows that I dropped. From the first impressions episode, I already dropped Angel Next Door. It was a little bit too much Housewife Simulator for me. Didn't like that. I didn't like that every setting was essentially in their apartment. That was dropped. And then since the first impression episode, I dropped The Barbarian's Wife, which was a show that I predicted that I thought was going to be like a sleeper hit. It was, so like, I thought it'd be more than what it is, but a lot of the episodes from where I watched, so I dropped it in like episode 5 or 6. Every episode past episode 1 was actually like, oh no, they're not barbarians, they're actually the good guys. And it was like that every episode, where they're just trying to explain to her that like, actually you guys are evil. Like, you just claim we're barbarians because we live in huts instead of stone castles. And it's like, okay, you did that episode 2, and then you're also doing that episode 3, and you're also doing that episode 4, and you're also doing that episode 5. It's like, you're not really doing anything different with this show. Every now and then they'll sprinkle in like the dude having a huge dick or something like that, and that was funny. But I would just say from like a story beat standpoint, they keep repeating the same thing over again. And I kind of wish they would, like, we got it. Like, we understand that. Why are you guys fighting in the first place? Where is this war going? Why are we fighting? Well, I mean, we know why they're fighting. There's like the famine and everything like that. But like, the famine was caused by them. Like, we learned that. Like, they're at war because they don't have food. So now they're trying to kill the barbarians. It's like, it's your fault. Like, You're killing these people for their land because you can harvest food. It's like we're fucking America or whatever. So it's like, yeah, we're the baddies. Like we are, like, every time. But it's not that, like, there's nothing wrong with that message. It's just that it's just pounded every episode. So that is that for the spring first impressions. Look forward to the spring review in, I don't know, what was that, like 6 weeks or something like that? 6-7 weeks. I didn't even mean to do that, but now I have to. My bad. Apologies in advance. That was not, I swear on my mama, that was not on purpose. So look forward to that. Yeah, but this season's been great. Really great season. There's a couple of shows that I am watching that, I don't know, sometimes they're just like hard to talk about. Like the Garden of Gods one, where it's like the Iyashiki one. Like, I like that show. It's hard to talk about to other people. I like it. It's fine. Like, stuff like that. So let me know what you're watching, enjoying. What's your favorite show this season? What's your biggest disappointment? What's standing out to you? What was a moment that made your jaw drop to the floor? Let me know, whether it's in our Discord, YouTube comments, Spotify comments. We share it. We talk about it. It's great fun. But yeah, I just want to say thanks if you've made it this far. I think I took one sip of water. This was a great episode. I had a long day at work, which I was kind of nervous that I would probably be a little sluggish this episode, but it felt like it went by really well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy it and you want to support me, the best way to do so, like, comment, subscribe, leave a review on whatever platform you are watching or listening to us on. Next week for Watch Club, we are watching Takapi's Original Sin. So I'm going to cry and be really depressed because I really didn't want to watch that show, but heard it's great. It got runner-up in our anime of the year, so I should probably watch it. Otherwise, in 2 weeks, I'm not sure what I'm doing yet. There might be an episode in 2 weeks. I'm not sure yet. I might take a break. I'm not sure. We'll see, though. If I think of something, I'll put an episode up. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening, watching, wherever you are, and we'll see you next time. Peace.